Dear chess friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm very excited to present you with the idea that I recently discovered that might cause some serious problems to Benoni players. Now, let's get to the material. So, we are talking about Modern Benoni, which goes obviously with the move c5 here. Very important to mention that when I was an active chess player, it's considered that white has a very dangerous setup against Modern Benoni, so straight Modern Benoni. I call it c5, so right away moving to Modern Benoni. That's why on the high level, black usually started with move e6. For example, one of the top players who was practically the only one on top 10 who used to play Benoni was Vugar Gashimov, and he was always starting with move e6, and then if white would play knight c3, he would avoid something that we will talk today, just playing Nimzo. Meanwhile, if white goes knight f3, then he moves to Benoni, so there is no opportunity to play that I'm going to present today, the system with f4. And the same applies to, obviously, those who play Catalan. Personally, I was playing this a lot, one of the big experts. So here, obviously, black can play c5, and there are no worries about the system that we are going to talk today. Now, c5, d5, e6, knight c3, e d5, c d5, d6, e4, g6, f4, and after bishop g7, bishop b5 check. So I know Benoni players were really scared of the system. Now, I even published on my site 4 years ago one idea in this line where I thought it's like really promising for white. I even call it maybe it's a refutation. So maybe I should give once again another try. So like maybe now it's a refutation, but it's just something promising, right? And once the time evolves, like engines become stronger, so they find solution. So, but it's, in my opinion, really remarkable idea that I'm going to show today. Now, Benoni drew my attention because recently it's became really popular thanks to the effort, I think, of Richard Rapport, Hungarian player who currently represents Germany. Romania. Of course, Magnus also played, so there is this tournament that finished, I think, a few months ago, Grenke, and there have been, 4 or 5 games in Benoni with like positive result for black. And so it's just, I decided to give another look, and let me show you what I discovered. So first of all, it's well known that knight fd7 is the best move in this position, and all the rest hardly playable for black. Now, I would like to mention that my material pretty much matches what I already published 4 years ago. However, I found some interesting improvements. Now, for example, in the line knight d7, I would like to show you one idea after e5, so main line d5, f5, knight h5, knight is hanging, so we go e6, we allow queen h4 check, g3, knight g3, so it's very well-known line with hundreds of games. G3, queen h1 has to be played, bishop e3, so we're just like waiting, we don't need to rush with capture on d7, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, and a6. This has been the main line. It's pretty obvious main line, I believe. E d7, bishop d7, and white was just better after bishop d7 was better endgame, but I discovered, to my great surprise, that this move works really great for white, so it's much better. Now, with the idea with the next move, we basically trying to trade queens with queen f3, or first we start king f2, and then after queen e4, queen d3, so not f3, queen d3, and then we also maintain bishop pair, which is kind of like helpful when you have 2 minor pieces for the rook and pawns. So, and actually it appears that our king is pretty safe, so no worries about this. If he decides to keep queens, we also have good chances to launch something serious along the dark squares. So it's a little bit surprising discovery for me as well. Now, of course, in this position, the main line, as I mentioned, after bishop b5, knight d7, pretty much established. So now we have a situation. In my previous work 4 years ago, I recommended knight f3. The obvious drawback here that it allows black to deliver bishop d3, b5. Now castle, castle, and I had this idea of playing two useful moves. It even doesn't matter the move order, king h1 and a3, and then getting ready for potential ideas, maybe f5 next move. And I thought it's really, really promising. Now, the best idea nowadays to check the best lines for black is to look at games of Richard Rappaport, and he came up with the move rook a7, also waiting move, getting ready when we start f5, so rook protects f7 square. So of course it's also a pretty common idea that rook at some point can get to e7. So it seems like black is doing pretty well here. I mean, I would still love to play this position for white, but not bad at all. So we talked about move knight f3. Now in Grand Care in tournament in Germany that I mentioned before, Vincent Kamer, he played a4. It's very well known second choice when white obviously stops a6 b5 idea, but there is a clear drawback. Then knight a6 comes and knight jumps into b4 right away, so it would be somewhat an interesting outpost for black knight, and the play is very complicated. So there was a game, I think, Kamer against Rapport, where black eventually won, which showed like a main line, a major line. And I felt like black is, you know, getting something that they would love to get in Benoni. So that was a really interesting discovery. Now, I wanted to check, since everyone started, so top players start to play this, what is happening with my line, with knight f3, and I realized that in this position, there is a very interesting move, bishop e2. So the idea, obviously, when we play bishop e2, so we avoid idea a6 b5, because now whenever black plays a6 we always play a4, and of course we are not worried about any knight a6, knight b4, because then we just don't play a4. So the idea, we play bishop e2 and we want just to complete development and enjoy nice space advantage. And guys, I have to say that it looks extremely promising. I believe it's very significant problems for black. Now, I would like to mention that there is an interesting idea for black, but those who play Benoni, they know that it's pretty thematic. Provoke, move g3, and then let's say retreat to d8, a7. And but we just develop. We just develop, and this position, so that will be our main line. So sometimes we do some preparation, but sometimes we are ready to go f5 and just start the attack. And to be honest, so far everything looks very promising. It's surprising because bishop e2, actually, if you check database, it's only white fourth choice. So like knight f3, a4, and also bishop d3 looks more natural, white to e2. But it's better placed for the future. It's not getting under knight b4 tempo or something like, or c4 tempo in some position. And truly excited to share with you this idea. You know, where, if you're like very interested, you just go to my website, ask-avrukh.com, and you'll have an option to download PGN or just check it on my site. And I hope it will give you a lot of great victories, this line. So really, really nice discovery in my opinion. Now, as always, I would like to ask you, if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel, click notification button so you know when I publish new materials. And of course, I would appreciate if you can leave any comments. And those who are regular guests on my YouTube channel, they know that I'm trying to respond as soon as possible, and I try to communicate with those who leave the comments. Thanks for watching this video, and good luck with Benoni for white.